So Mark Meadows is not only being investigated for contempt of Congress, he's now added another criminal investigation to his resume. So here we go. Let's talk about Mark Meadows' double-wide voter fraud. Because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So it's no secret that Mark Meadows was referred for criminal prosecution for contempt of Congress more than 3 months ago. And now we are on day 95 of the Mark Meadows indictment watch. But now we've learned that Mark Meadows has added another criminal investigation to his resume. It looks like he may have fraudulently listed a trailer in the woods of North Carolina, a trailer he never owned, a trailer in which he never lived, listed it as his primary residence for purposes of voting and for purposes of running for office in North Carolina. So let's talk about Mark Meadows' double-wide voter fraud. Here is the brand new reporting from the Washington Post. Headline: North Carolina investigates Mark Meadows after reports that he never lived where he registered to vote. And that article begins: State investigators in North Carolina are probing Mark Meadows over his voter registration after news organizations reported that the former White House chief of staff registered to vote in 2020 using the address of a mobile home he has never lived in. Anjanette Grube, Public Information Director for the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation, confirmed to the Washington Post Thursday that the matter is under investigation. And the North Carolina State Board of Elections is also investigating Meadows. Now, there's a great deep dive piece from a few days ago in The New Yorker by journalist Charles Bethea, and I'll put a link to that article in the description of this video. But let me highlight just a few short passages from that New Yorker article about this Mark Meadows election fraud investigation. Headline: Why did Mark Meadows register to vote on an address where he did not reside? And that article reads in part: Mark Meadows, who grew up in Florida, became active in local Republican politics and, in 2012, ran for Congress and won, going on to represent North Carolina's 11th District until March 2020, when he resigned the seat to become President Donald Trump's chief of staff. Now, on September 19th, 2012, about 3 weeks before North Carolina's voter registration deadline for the general election, Meadows filled out paperwork to run for office in North Carolina. On a line that asked for his residential address, which the form defined as, quote, where you physically live, Meadows wrote down the address of a 14 by 62-foot mobile home in Scaly Mountain, North Carolina. He listed his move-in date for this address as the following day, September 20th, the day after he was filling out the form about where he lived. Meadows does not own this property and never has. It is not clear that he has ever spent a single night there. The previous owner of the trailer, who asked that her name not be used in this article, now lives in Florida, and she said, well, that was just a summer home. And she seemed surprised to learn that the residence was listed on the Meadows form. Now, she did say, the prior owner of this trailer, that she once rented it to somebody named Debbie Meadows for a 2-month period. And she said that Debbie Meadows only spent 1 or 2 nights there. And as for Mark Meadows, the prior owner of this trailer said he did not come. He never spent a night there. So according to the owner of the trailer, Mark Meadows did not come and never spent a night there. And yet, based on the reporting, it looks like Mark Meadows in 2012 listed that very trailer on the forms he had to file to run for office in North Carolina as his residence, as, quote, where he actually lived. That doesn't appear to be true. And we also know in 2020, when he registered to vote, he listed that same trailer as his home address, his home of record, his residence, even though based on the reporting, he has never lived there. And now, as a result, Mark Meadows is being investigated by both the state authorities in North Carolina as well as the federal authorities, the Department of Justice, because he has been referred for prosecution for contempt of Congress. Of course, the question remains, the eternal question, the question for our times, will he be held accountable? Will he be charged? Will he be indicted? Will he be prosecuted either in the state of North Carolina or federally for the crimes it sure seems like he committed? I have to believe he will, because I still have a hard time conceiving of living in a country where the Department of Justice has all of this evidence of criminal conduct by high government officials and does nothing. Because then we're going the way of Russia. We can't let that happen. Because justice matters. Friends, as always, please stay safe. Please stay tuned. And I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.